I was going to actually invite you in on this as a law enforcement officer. I was going to talk to the panel, and specifically you, Ms. Hartley, about the 30-round mags, because you stated that you personally are uncomfortable with civilian ownership of a 30-round magazine. However, I assume you'd be fine with law enforcement having a 30-round magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think there's a problem, like this gentleman just segued into, there's a problem when you have a differentiation between the two. There's actually been, and I'd like you to interject, there's actually been more cases where civilians are outnumbered by a 20-to-1 ratio than there have been law enforcement outnumbered by a 20-to-1 ratio. The two most high-profile ones were the LA riots, where law enforcement literally abandoned those people and left them to fend for themselves. And it's a fact that the only citizens that were not victimized or whose livelihoods were not looted and burned to the ground were the people that were able to defend themselves with the same exact types of firearms and magazines that you want to ban or not let us have. Another example was Katrina, where law enforcement literally fled the city and those people had to fend for themselves. There are many examples where the common citizen is actually more justified for the common citizen to have an AR-15 with a 30-round magazine than law enforcement. The homeowner, Department of Homeland Security, has stated that an AR-15 with a 30-round magazine is an ideal home defense weapon. The homeowner, late at night, waiting for the response time for the police to come, the second responders to come, can help keep those multiple intruders at bay by having that 30-round magazine. You only have one mag, it's dark, it's in the bedroom, you don't want to turn lights on and illuminate yourself because you're the target, and they're able to buy time and wait for the cops to come by being able to keep those intruders at bay. A lower capacity magazine would put honest citizens more in harm's way. The police, when they arrive to a scene, remember, they have to combat the same exact adversaries that we initially had to confront. So I don't understand the logic with having the differentiation between, I gotta have a 10 and a cop can have a 30. That just doesn't make any sense.
I hear you, I understand. I'm trying very hard to digest all of this and come to the reasonable place. I will say this to all of you. In these hearings, we actually had the industry before us because we're trying to, you know, in this short time have this broad brush of, you know, all the facets. And the industry, what struck me, actually, it was the CFO of Colt, said that right after the Vietnam War, when their sales were projected to plummet, that they changed their marketing techniques, and no longer were they relying upon the law enforcement or the military marketing, but they changed their marketing to target what they termed the commercial, which is basically us. And in so doing, their design, and we talked about the AR when it was designed, it was right, you know, around that time. Their design was, and their design teams were commissioned to design implements which were very, very close to the military-grade weapons that were being used that would make the threshold for the commercial market. So that then became the advent of a lot of these high-powered firearms. And the truth is, and I try to talk to everybody I can, and that's why, you know, someone said, do we want information? I would say, absolutely, bring it on. Actually, the girl in my office isn't happy about that, but anyhow. And so at that point, they changed their marketing and their sales began to move, and they changed their design. And so, you know, that to me is pretty telling. And when I'm talking to people, and I was talking to a lot of young gun owners, and in the conversations, each one of them to a person said to me, you know, I don't know anything but an AR-15, but, you know, a high-powered rifle that will take maybe up to 20 rounds a magazine or 30. And I think to myself, because of the proliferation that the industry shifted gears when our military engagements also shifted gears, it is the universe now that law-abiding gun owners know almost exclusively. So
That's not true.
It's a scary looking gun.
It's just a good business plan.
It's
But,
not.
but what has happened is that's why, you know, everybody feel that that is the weapon of choice. And it was basically a very intense, strategized marketing campaign, which started.
I worked at Cole. I don't know if you want me to address what you're saying.
Yeah, the CFO.
Well, I'm not.
No, the CFO is the one who testified to that.
Well, it's just a good business plan, a good business model. To have a product that you make, and instead of diversifying yourself among the marketplace, people do it with everything that they make. That's just a common business model. There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm just telling you that, phenomenal, which I found very interesting.
I just want to thank everyone for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Obviously, it's been almost 2.5 hours.
Did everybody who didn't talk want to talk? Did anybody else?
Can I make one request of separate topic, promise? When you, sir, when you were talking about the public hearing and you'd like people to come out for the public hearing, I was at Hartford on the 28th, and there were probably a number of people that were here. It was a long day for everybody. I think we need to break these up because you'll get, even if it's both sides of the aisle, regardless of the topic, you'll get better participation if people have several days in which they can come up to the Capitol. It will also be much less wearying on the legislators who don't have an opportunity for a break or anything, you know, to give them a little bit of a respite. So something to explore so that we're all not so battle
It really is, and you feel bad for the last people on the list.
Is it true that the governor said that these commissions have been dragging their feet, that he wants a quicker response? I mean, that's kind of taking all of this work that all you people have done, and I thank you very much, despite my...
I thank him for that, actually.
Yeah, we've done my action, but either way.
It was rude and inconsiderate.
Exactly. It kind of takes everything away from you. I'm sorry, I was a few minutes late.
I didn't mention that specifically, but mentioned that you're right. This governor, and I said this on the radio today, believes that we as legislators are not his equal, and that's not the case.
Right.
We are. We're a separate body of government, and we are equal representation of our citizens. So he has said that, whether it be the budget, whether it be this or anything else.
He wants to implement his